Welcome to Happy Homes and Gardens. I'm your host. My name is Daphne Royce. I am a real estate broker, architecture, and interior designer. Timothy White is one of the world's most talented and sought-after celebrity photographers. His work has won many awards and also exhibits in galleries and museums worldwide. Timothy has photographed thousands of high-profile celebrities like movie stars, musicians, presidents, and influencers. Timothy has also published books and sell other related merchandise. How are you, Timothy?
I'm great. Thank you, Daphne.
Please tell us who you are and why you decided to be a photographer.
Who I am. Okay. Well, I kind of didn't decide to be a photographer. I mean, I think early on, the time that I grew up, it was I was looking for something alternative. It was the late '60s, early '70s, and it was it was sort of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And I wasn't going to be a lawyer. I didn't have a family business to go into. I wasn't directed that way. And it just seemed like an alternative sort of career. And I was so into music at the time. And so I started to photograph friends, musicians, bands, things like that. And I just sort of head in that direction. And one thing led to another.
Do you remember who was your first celebrity client? Do you ever get starstruck in your work?
No, I never get starstruck. I'm from New Jersey, and we have a certain attitude and confidence that I think has really served me well over my career. I think the first person that meant anything for me relative to music and relative to celebrity was Julian Lennon, John Lennon's son. And we are still very close friends today, almost 40 years later. So that's really a testament to the connections that we make, and to the collaboration and the work we do together.
That was a great start, right?
It was a great start for me. It really meant a lot. And I kind of grew up in that period. Now I was a little too young, but my sisters were a bit older, and they were all part of the British invasion and Beatlemania and when all of that happened. And so I was 9 years old or whatever, and there was this whole frenzy in my household of constantly listening to Beatles records and things of that nature. So it was that connection that sort of meant something to me, and it's grown.
Have you ever learned how to use camera that time?
At that time? Nah, I was just before that. I mean, I was just playing in high school, and I really wasn't serious about photography so much. And then I got my first camera probably right into college, my first year of college. And I mean, I had other cameras, but it was a serious camera my first year of college. And then that grew. It was a Nikon 35 millimeter. And then I started getting into photography and photographers and really studying it and really seeing less about the technology and less about cameras, but more about photography in itself. And the more I did that, the more I sort of wanted to emulate and wanted to see and use the camera in a different way.
Well, you have a special eye, so you can catch the best moments for every person you photographed.
Well, it's about finding something that works for me, that is about an experience that I'm trying to create. I'm conscious of the history that I'm documenting, and I do it through my own lens.
That's wonderful. From your first camera, can you share some thoughts in the technology evolution from older cameras to newer mirrorless and digital cameras?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I'm lucky enough to have experienced and created with analog cameras and film, and to really understand that process. And in fact, all through the beginning of my career and the spurt of growth in my career, required me to become more and more technically proficient. But that technical proficiency was with analog, was with film and processing and an understanding of not just the darkroom, but actually how film can be manipulated and can be used to its best advantage. So that preparation in analog processes made a big difference when it switched to digital, and I was very willing and conscious of and very much involved in the transition from analog to digital. And it became a big part of my career early on, and still to this day, I not only am involved in the technology in capturing images, but also in printing and all of sort of the post-production processes that we do nowadays. I also love my iPhone. I take some of my best pictures with my iPhone. So yeah, so I kind of embrace it completely and really into the technology.
I have seen your work. Your work comes in color and black and white. When would one be preferred over the other in photos and posters?
I mean, it's really what works in the moment. There's many things that attract my eye, and oftentimes it's always the light because that's what photography is about. So it's always the light, but it's in that sense, sometimes color is so dynamic, and it helps in both the composition as well as sort of the impact of a photograph. Black and white seems to be um, well, it certainly is the beginnings of photography was black and white before color came about. And so there's a different sense, there's a different sensibility about both ends of the medium, both color and black and white. And I can't make a decision in a discussion. I only make the decision in the moment when I can feel and see what I'm looking at through the lens. And sometimes you see it in black and white, and sometimes you see it in color.
That's great. Have you seen changes in clients' demand from the 70s to today?
In clients, did you say?
Yeah, clients' demands.
Um, yeah, I mean, there was, you know, early on, like most of what I photograph is celebrity, right? So it's a lot of Hollywood. I've shot every major movie actor in the last 40 years that has been important, and really that really means a lot to me. And I feel like I'm really grateful and lucky to have documented pop culture history during that time. But yeah, it's definitely changed. It changed in that um, before my career started, photographers were hired in Hollywood to do a specific job, and it was really um, controlled in a different way. When I started in photography in the early '80s, um, the stars themselves kind of got control of the process, and they would make decisions along with their publicity machine um, to decide what photographer and what images were being used and that sort of thing. They sort of took control of their own image. Fast forward now with new technology and phones and celebrity dictate their own image. They post their own image. They put out there and create their own image the way they want to do it through the medium that exists at this moment. So it really has changed. People like me, although we were once more craftsmen because of the nature of the medium, and now anyone can take a picture with digital photography in some ways or another. We still are needed and known for our relationships and our ability to interact with subjects and to create a kind of image that is very different than what they would create for themselves.
That's great to know. And who is the most photogenic person in your opinion?
um, the most photogenic person is one that collaborates with you, because it allows me to work closely with them, to really see what they're about, to try and get a sense of who they are through my eyes, and then put that out there in a photograph.
And I know you have photographs in many different locations. What were the most extreme or difficult conditions under which you had to work?
Mm. You know, I don't really look at it like that because it's all sort of a challenge. So it's not like it's difficult. I mean, I've always said if I plan too much, I'll screw it up. So, you know, if you're planning on a sunny day, it could rain on you, and so you need to be prepared for all different conditions. There were no bad conditions. They were all great experiences to me. So an example like that would be, you know, going in and it's pouring rain, and so shoot them in the rain, get them wet, give them an umbrella, do it differently. You know, it's a challenge with each situation to come up with that thing that makes it unique. And again, if you plan too much, if you have too many preconceptions, then you're not open to those experiences and to allowing it to happen. And photography's magical, and you kind of need to let that magic happen, both technically and in relation with your subject.
Are there any celebrities still on your bucket list to create portraits or posters?
No, I don't really have a bucket list. It was never like that. I like to work. I like to interact with people. I like to create those images. And so if it's someone who is a legend and I haven't photographed before, well, then I'm definitely interested in that. And if it's somebody who is an influencer or someone who's really on the cutting edge of the moment and some young star, I'm really interested in that as well. And maybe even if they're not yet, maybe they will be, and I can help propel that image.
Are you mostly travel to clients or clients travels to you?
It's both. I mean, I've been all over the world, in almost every country. It seems it's been a lifetime of flying around. Um, it really depends on the photo shoot and what's involved. I'm always willing to go someplace. I used to say early on in my career, it was like either how much money they were paying me, where the location was, or who it was, and they're not necessarily in that order. So depending on who it was, if it was somebody I really wanted to photograph, then I'd go anywhere for no money to shoot them. Or if it was a lot of money, I would do whatever I had to do to make that happen. Or if it was a really great location, I would do that because I wanted to be there.
Do your photos contain subjects other than people? Are they any locations you would like to shoot?
Um, no, I'm pretty um, attached to warm climates, but I've done so much in so many different places. My pictures are, you know, my personal work is a little bit different. The things I just take for myself, they're more landscapes, they're more um, sort of more solitary, more quiet. My portraits and the nature of my interaction with the subjects um, become um, a more, I don't know, a louder sort of event. And so when I'm by myself and I'm photographing, I'm more interested in more solitude and more quiet moments. But I incorporate them both into my portraiture. So when I'm looking to take a photograph of someone, I'm looking for that landscape. I'm looking for that graphic composition that I see through the lens. And then I put my subject into that. So I always, in some ways, mix um, my photographs of people and my landscapes.
And let's talk about your books. I know you have 2 books out.
Actually,
And
I have 4 books out.
sorry.
Oh, it's okay. No, I have 4 coffee table books.
Okay.
One was portraits by the publisher was Rizzoli, and Harrison Ford did the. It was a longtime friend. Did the forward for it. My second book was a book um, um, called Indian Larry, and it was on a motorcycle guru, a kind of a legendary friend of mine who I spent a lot of time riding motorcycles with, and he was a very unique artist, and he passed away, and I was with him, and so I did a coffee table book on him, and then I did a book on pinups. It was my homage to the Varga illustrations, the pinup illustrations from the 40s, only I did it photographically. And so that was called Hollywood Pinups, and it was a bunch of actresses done up as Hollywood pinups. And then I did a book collaboratively with another photographer, very well-known, famous photographer by the name of Jim Marshall, who's also passed on. But Jim was an old friend of mine, and he was older than I was. But we recognized that we had many similarities in our work, both compositionally and photographing the same subjects, only 25, 30 years apart. And so it was very interesting. We put our pictures together, which no photographers have ever done. And we called it match prints. And it was one of his, one of mine. And there was some similarity in the images, which is why we put them together.
I will need to look into that. It sounds like very, very interesting.
Please.
And will you consider to write more books?
Yeah, I'm working on a memoir right now, actually. So that's exciting. And there's always so much material in my archive that I consider for books. I'm working on a number of projects that take time to really formulate, and then of course formulate the idea, and then gather all the images and make them perfect and ready for printing.
I visited your website. You list hundreds, maybe thousands names of a person you took a photo with. How would you organize all the photos you ever took for all the people that you had?
Very early on, I recognized that what my career was becoming was a document of pop culture, of our time. And as such, it was really important to be organized and to keep track of everything. And as my career took off and it became very fast paced, and the amount of work that I was doing on a regular basis, really required that organization so that you could access it, so that we could identify it, that it was maintained and protected over the years. And so my archive is voluminous. It's very, very large, but it's very organized.
For little I know you're very efficient and also detail-oriented person. Am I correct on that?
I would say so. I'm not about detail as much, but organized for sure.
Well, you recognize my typo.
Well, I have other people that work for me as well, so
Okay.
they watch my back.
No worries at all. And anything else you want to share with my audience?
No, I mean, it's a pleasure. We met at an exhibition that I have in San Francisco that is actually still open at 181 Fremont. That's the name of the gallery. It's also the location, and maybe you want to put that in there, especially if you're in San Francisco. Please go and take a look. I have galleries in New York and LA, and we represent a lot of other photographers, and that's the Morrison Hotel Gallery, and that's really exciting as well to work with so many other of my peers. So always have new projects, always new things going on. It's great. I'm a lucky man.
Yes. I highly recommend 181 Fremont. It is in a penthouse, many rooms of Timothy's work. Highly recommend you pay a visit to that exhibition. It's going to end in early 2024, is that correct?
Yeah, it'll be there they actually want to extend it now. So it will be there after the first of the year for sure, probably through January.
Oh, wonderful. Well, that will have given people more time to visit.
Yeah, if we can, maybe we can give a website or something where people can reach and make an appointment to go see.
I would definitely link to that exhibition so people can know where to find it and even how to get access to the building.
That's great. Thank you. Yeah, it's pretty spectacular. It's a penthouse and it's floor to ceiling windows and it's a lot of space and it's really beautiful. It's a great place to visit, as well as look at the photography.
So how can people contact you to purchase your work?
Well, you can
books and merchandise.
Yeah. Go to www.timothywhite.com. You can come directly to me and you can email us there. Or you can go through the Morrison Hotel Gallery, also represents my work, and that's morrisonhotelgallery.com. It's also PosnerFineArt.com, and Posner Fine Art has put together the exhibition in San Francisco. So that's a great opportunity to purchase the work as well.
Timothy, I do have questions for you. Your work is exceptional large. Would you able to ship to clients?
Oh, absolutely. We ship all over the world, and there's many different sizes. What's in that exhibition, what you saw were very large prints,
Yes.
40 by 50 inches, 30 by 40 inches. Those are large prints. And they're wonderful for display, and they certainly, the subjects who are all well known sort of pop off the wall. It's really exciting. But no, we print in smaller sizes, and some are more affordable for people and that sort of thing. But yeah, a full range. You can go to the website and look, and then just reach out, and we can advise or help you with anything.
There are some points they are not currently available. They're in your website, but if people see other photos they really like it, can they make a special
Absolutely.
order?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Look at the website, see anything there, and contact us, and we'll help you with everything.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Timothy, for your time. I really appreciate it.
You, it was great. Great talking with you.
All right, thank
Such a
you.
pleasure to meet you. Thank you.